Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
Welcome to the live show for Bet On It. We are the Swoony Readers. I don't know why I said it like that. But yeah, this is where we're going to talk all about it. Give our ratings, our thoughts, our feelings. So let's go around and do our intros. Let us know some things. Give
Okay.
us a little insider intel.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Dana. You can find me on YouTube at Dana Ella and Instagram at Dana Ella Reads. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Very brief overview. I binged the first 67% of the book, and I was really loving it. And I was like telling myself, like, could this little baby be a 5-star read? And I was really hoping for it. And then today before the live, like, I finished the last 33%. I'm upset about it. I'm gonna give it a 3. I don't know. I'm gonna give it a 3. And I don't know where it'll go after we talk about it, because after some of the thoughts that I have come out loud, I'm gonna be upset. I have a little list. It's a short list, but I had to jot down some thoughts in my anger moment. So, well, I can't wait to talk.
We'll get into it.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Kaylani from Kaylani Simply Me on Instagram and YouTube. And I wanted to say that I loved it, but actually from the beginning, I was kind of having a hard time connecting with the characters. And then we got further and I was like, okay, baby. And then we got to the end and I was like, no. I'm only giving it this rating because what I think this book did well was mental health rep very, very well. So I'm giving it a 3.5 because of the mental health rep, but it lost a star and a half for the relationship. Like, ugh.
That's all? It was just the relationship. Okay.
Well, there's a lot of the other things too, but I think the relationship was a big, like,
We're at surface
watching
level
their.
thoughts. You said surface
Yeah,
level.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Hi guys, I'm Karina. You're on my channel. You can find me at She Dreams Words on Instagram as well. I'm giving this a generous 3 stars. Also, the mental health rep was really great, but I could not justify that getting any higher than the 3. So yeah,
And I could be definitely convinced to go down a full star at this point.
yeah.
I was being generous when I finished it because we don't get a lot of books with this type of mental health, but
Yeah. Good. All right, we got some friends here with us. Oh, hey Liz.
Hey.
Said, thought I would last when my sleep has been all over the place. We'll watch back tomorrow, maybe. Give it 4 stars. All right. Off on a high already. Some memorable moments. Mental health. Wait. Is that supposed to be mental? Wait. Wait. What is this tight at his side? Okay. His fist tight at his side gave me a flash of Arthur. Oh my gosh. Didn't realize how, sexy it was going to be.
It was spicy.
We're staring at it. For eating. Not the art. I literally can see the meme. This little hand punch. Finally, only one other thing tastes better than beach cobbler. Yeah. You should got that good, apparently. Yeah, this was definitely spicier than anticipated, I feel like. Have a great live show. Thanks for stopping by, Liz.
yeah,
We'll be awaiting all your thoughts when we get to the questions.
Yeah.
Hi, Kay. Oh man, I had to drive back home 6 hours today and then had a nap, so I'll be ready for this live show. Oh, wow. Thank you for joining us. I'm so glad you got to sneak in a little nap in. We are pro naps for sure. Hi, Clint. I won't be able to be at the chat, so I wanted to stop by and say, hey, hope you ladies have a great chat. I give it 6 stars. We'll watch this live when I get later. All right. Well, thank you for stopping in. We're so happy that you loved it.
Clint, just one request. If you ever come back to this, if you ever do make it back to this, please, I beg of thee, leave every answer and thought you have as a comment, please. Like to questions, because I genuinely want to hear. I want to hear from everybody though, because so many people did love it. So many people really did.
Yeah.
And that's what we're excited to talk about. Like, a different perspective and what some other positives that maybe we weren't connecting with. So very excited for this. Well, I'm glad you made it. I ran errands all day with my mom.
Yeah.
Thanks for popping in, Amy. I'm excited to hear everyone's thoughts. Hello. Oh my goodness. Y'all are so cute. Abby.
Yay.
Okay. Kay rated it 3 stars. I liked it. I thought it was cute. Love a good list.
Love a list. Love a list.
I gotta keep ourselves on track,
Yeah.
Hi, Misty.
Hi.
Ooh, Abby gave it 4 stars. Okay. And then we go from a 4 to a 1.
I saw this comment and it almost sent me to the stratosphere. That
Man.
cracked me up.
You definitely have a mixed bag of ratings. But,
yep.
Yeah.
Misty really enjoyed this one. Between a 4 or 5-star rating, I won't really know until I write my review for it.
Which we love. We would much rather people love a book, even if we didn't end up being obsessed with it.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to sit with it a little bit longer to really see how you feel. I finished, but now I'm scared because I'm loving it so far, but only 50% in.
Let me just tell you, I know I already talked about it, but when that first binge, because I just sat there one day and played Happy Color one night and just got through a good chunk of the book. And like I said, I was really could this be a 5? Then when I went back, today to finish it, I was like, okay, it's not a 5, but I was like, maybe, a 4. I was like, I'll take a 4. That's not bad. By the end, I landed also on a generous 3, which could very much, I can't foresee it going up, but I could,
Yeah.
But that's how I was feeling. I was feeling so happy.
Well, hopefully you enjoy it, Sam. We'll be excited to hear your final rating. Okay, Amy landed on the 3 stars for this one. Read this a few years ago and give it a 4 then. It's good to know. Yeah. HB also gave it a 4, enjoyed it, but I'm interested in everyone's thoughts. My rating could change depending on how this goes. Yeah, definitely. Our ratings can do that as well. If I was using StoreGraph instead of Goodreads, it probably would have landed more at 3.75. Okay. That's not too far off from your 4. Hello. I really liked it. Give it 5 stars, but I give out 5s too easily.
That's okay. The vibes.
Yeah. I used to be like that, but I think just the more you read, I think you kind of get a little more critical in some aspects. But I'm so happy it was a 5 stars.
Yeah.
There's no need for sitting besides the mental health. It was mediocre. I think I was bummed because I heard such great things from people before I read it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you let us know, for everyone here, did you listen to it or did you physically read it? Or both? Very curious as to how you decided to pick it up. So while we're reading on that, let's go ahead and talk about the characters. We got Walker, we have Asia, we have Miri, we have Grandma, I forgot her name already. Dad.
Benny?
All right.
I think Dad's Benny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where to start. So take it away, Dana.
Miss May.
Miss May. I just it's I just feel like my anger and irritation. It makes this hard. I really enjoyed the characters openness, I guess, with the reader, which I know, like, obviously we're supposed to be like know more about them, but I enjoyed like the struggles with mental health because, like, you know, you feel represented when you struggle, with mental health yourself.
Mhm.
Um, and I don't know. It just like I'm struggling for words, but I enjoyed like the characters feeling a little more real with having like struggles and how like debilitating they can be sometimes and like because I think sometimes too like we love a mental health rep and then some authors sometimes gloss over a lot of things and then it's like okay like the brain goblins got you but it doesn't feel very real and I think there were a lot of aspects where it did feel very real and I enjoyed that about the characters and about like kind of how it shows like how it can close you off and um or like run away in some ways but it's like at first I thought the characters were going to be really deep and then it was like it's like I was like oh we're getting deep and then it's almost like it plateaued and like there was no more like development. I don't know, I feel like so it's like I liked them and then I think I got tired of them. Yeah.
No.
I don't know. I think that like listening to Asia's point of view wasn't as frustrating, although she did do some things where I'm like, okay, but why? But I think for me, the frustrating thing was being in,
Wally Walker.
there you go, Walker's perspective and like feeling like the reactions to what he was going through, like, and granted, PTSD and anxiety and all of that stuff manifests differently for every person. But reading it in a book, I can judge these characters based off of who they are. And I feel like the actions and the reactions that he had to the people that were in his life just didn't make sense to me. Like it didn't feel valid. It didn't feel like as far as he was going with some of these things, like that lady at the restaurant, like the way he was just so
Ooh,
viscerally
yeah.
angry. And it was like the lady, first of all, hasn't talked to you, hasn't even, then you're just like, like this big grumpy baby that's pouting.
He's like,
And it's just,
you want some ice cream with that cobbler? And like
yeah,
he's
like,
like, I hate you.
exactly. So it was just like, it was so hard. Yes, the mental health was believable. And yes, people go through this. And I'm not saying that having those feelings when it comes to like past trauma is bad. It just, in this particular instance in the book, didn't feel valid. It didn't feel realistic to me. And so constantly having those things come up, it was like, okay, sir, in therapy, get it together. Like use those skills because it just didn't feel like I was watching them make forward progression on the issues that they were struggling with. It just felt like they were stagnant the whole time.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that on that.
I really liked Asia as a character. I think she, if anyone had character growth, it was her. And I just like how she kind of also like branched out, like finally meeting new people and allowed herself to like expand socially in a sense. But man, those bingo people were mean.
I have heard that though. I have heard that bingo halls are
Like
ruthless places. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a lawless land.
They don't play out there.
Oh, I guess I'll never go into a bingo hall. Not by myself.
Right? It's like, and I want
go
to
with the
bad. Yeah. No, you gotta roll deep when you go because it's like I can't be in there by myself.
Make me cry.
Because I said there wasn't enough lemon pepper on the wings. Isn't that what something happened to somebody one time in the book? They're just like, yeah, they're gone. Never set foot in this place again.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I really liked Asia the most. Okay, we have an audio ebook, physical read, listened while following along. We got a audio listener. Okay. Oh, right into it. I didn't like any. We got some audios. Okay. I think well, I know me and Kaylani really had some issues with the audiobook. Her, because it was a female narrator, right? The whole time. Her
Yeah.
narration for Walker was atrocious. I'm so sorry. It was
Who was that? Who was that big black man? Because that's what it sounded like.
like, yeah, we know he's from the South, but I mean, maybe I'm just being judgmental.
I think like a country twang for sure, like he should have had, but it was like there's this TikTok of this like basketball ref, and he's like mic'd up because he's like really funny or whatever, and he sounds like Walker and he looks like Walker, and the comments are always like, I hear us but I don't see us, like, and it's like, and that's what it sounded like for Walker. And now mind you, had he been like a black man, like I feel like, okay, bet, like, all right. But yeah, I think there could have been a little bit of like differentiation, like in the way that she portrayed him as a character, just because of how he was written. Came across a little, yeah.
Okay, Virginia said, "You're so right, Dana. The mental illness rep was excellent. I love watching them actively work on it throughout the entire book." Yeah. Anyone who listened to the audiobook, did you find it to be slow? I usually listen at 2 times speed, but I had to bump it up to 3. Yes.
The cadence on this woman's voice, it was like monotone the entire way through, but then you sped it up and it was just like, it was so slow. It was bad. It was bad.
Did you guys listen to it at all at 1 time speed just to hear it?
Yes, we did.
That was upsetting. I was like,
I played it on the live the other day, and it, like, first of all, it sounded so super slow, but also like the way that she was talking, it was like almost like seductive the entire way through. I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, wow, speed it up again.
I don't know what I did, because usually like Hoopla will state whatever the last speed was that you had it. And oh my gosh, I do know. I signed out and then I signed back in because I was like checking something. And when I clicked back on it, it just, because I guess I had signed out, it kind of like reset my speed. And it was at 1. And that was a mistake. But yeah.
Did not boost your experience. So you're saying.
See, and that's how it started when I picked it up today. I should have known. I should have seen the writing on the wall. We were at the end.
Like foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Kay had contradicting thoughts on Miss May. I liked her cheekiness, but I feel like if she was that character from now, then how did she not stand up or say more for Walker while he was growing up? Yeah, she was like,
wow,
she didn't say nothing to him when he was scurrying out the door. I mean, like, obviously that's not on her, but I was just, it's a very interesting dynamic because she kind of raised him, right? Because of the issues that he had with his parents.
Yeah, she did raise him.
Parental figure in his life. And like, obviously, everyone's relationship with people that raise them are just going to be different. It was just, I figured they would be like a little more close, I guess.
Yeah.
Have a better relationship, maybe.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think also like this comment, I couldn't put the 2 thoughts together to get here, but now like seeing it, I'm like, whoa, absolutely. Because I feel like Miss May was a very like you said, very cheeky, like very outspoken, and like you gotta invite Asia to like the everything. Is like she was very like, I feel like willing to say things, and it really did like now after being on the side of it being over, like it does feel very contradictory to like how she handled a lot with Walker, or even with the town. Like I would have thought for sure, like now, like thinking of it being like, wow, I would have thought she would have put a few people in their place. And they were really close. And then he said when he left, it was hard for him to ever like talk to her, brought up too much. And so, and when he did like, do his mad dash, and he said like, what does that say about me? That he said something about like, what does that say about me that my grandmother's so used to me just leaving?
Yeah.
And so, but I don't know. I think like I would have thought she would have been more outspoken with a lot of the people in town. Like I thought she would have been like, y'all gonna stop talking about Wally like that. Yeah. She did not.
Amy also struggled connecting with them. There's absolutely nothing to any of these characters. I'm sorry that you felt that way. Like, that always sucks, you know, reading a book and you're like, okay. I love the bingo parts. People get crazy at bingo.
Yeah.
It really was so fun. And then, there wasn't enough of it at a certain point.
No.
You know?
Especially when, like, so much hinged on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, that's the whole point of the book.
Mm-hmm.
From the start of the book, it tells us how hard it is for Asia to do new things, but when she did something new, I don't feel like she actually struggled with it as much as it seems she should have. It's a good assessment.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
On the money.
Yeah. I listened primarily at work at 3 times speed and switched to my phone to go home, and it went to 1 time. Oh no. And I was like, what the what?
It was bad.
It was jarring, I think.
Yeah.
Like, wondering what's going on. Hi, Deb. Welcome.
Hello.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Cast of characters. Okay, since we're still like on characters, I really liked her friend group that she was with, Mary, Jade, and there was that one other girl, I forgot her name. But they were just so welcoming. And
Mm-hmm.
okay, I do have a quote actually, since we're on it,
Yeah.
because I thought that was so
I did
good.
like them.
Yeah. I think they were definitely a bright spot in the overall, like, when you look back on the book, of just having, like, people who were obviously, like, they've grown up together and they were so welcoming to somebody who's clearly, like, the new kid in town, you know? And how they were so perceptive too, I think, of, like, the things that made her uncomfortable, and they offered her such sweet, like, reassurances. I think they were definitely a bright spot of the book.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't know exactly where. I think this might have been when she first met Mary and they're talking while she was getting her nails done, and Asia was like getting butterflies just from, like, you know, creating a friendship.
Yeah.
And it said, was there a word for something that felt an awful lot like a crush but wasn't? Something that didn't connotate romance but felt similar in so many ways. I'm like, I just really love that quote, because that's like such a beautiful thing. Like, when you're at the start of a friendship and you just feel so comfortable together and so accepted, like, right away. And I really love that.
Yeah.
That part really stood out.
No.
I thought Walker was black. Did you really? You didn't have to look at the cover?
I'll never get over that cover.
As someone who has had a small town life and people leaving that were close to me, I felt like he handled leaving like a lot of folks do, and it was hard to read sometimes, just because it reminded me of certain people. That's understandable.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so we're going to get into a little bit more in depth with our questions. So, speaking of our girl Asia, confidence is a present theme in her character arc. How did her self-image change throughout the book?
I mean, she was always in her, like, cute little shorts and that he loved to describe every time he saw her. And, you know, I felt like she was relatively confident body-wise, but I think it just comes down to, like, her confidence in her social experiences. Like, she just didn't feel confident being, like, a friend or somebody that people could lean on, or somebody that she could go to people and, like, bear all. And I feel like that is the confidence that really changed for her. So I loved seeing, because I feel like a lot of the times when you see, like, confidence issues, it's always come down to, like, body confidence. So I like in this book, like, she didn't have any body confidence. She was just like, I am who I am, and, like, you can just deal with it. But, like, the confidence on the side of, like, fitting in and social acceptance, I feel like was really interesting to watch blossom.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm cracking up a little bit when you were like, when you would describe the shorts.
Every time. Every time.
So does this man never seen a leg? Like,
Never.
starved. for a piece of leg meat, I guess. Because what the heck?
Oh, yeah.
I will say I do love it was like plus size rep, and so like that's something I really did enjoy. And like Kaylani said, I feel like like her self-esteem with her body was never in question. And I think that was really like refreshing to see because it's something I think that we see a lot of, at least in like the real world too, but it was nice to see her, I think, try more, and like get a little more confident with her friends. But I do really think, I think it was Misty that said it, that the author made it such a big deal about her social anxiety and things like that, that you would have thought that she would have struggled a little more, maybe had like a little more back and forth with maybe like even with like the nail salon or something, like being like, I'm going to go and then not go, maybe come back another day or something. And I think So it was nice though to see her get acclimated in her town and get more comfortable with people because I mean, we want to see the growth, but yeah.
And do you think that socializing with Walker, obviously he's not Miss May, like that is the first interaction really she had with anyone in town, that kind of gave her the confidence to venture out and go to the nail salon because they had their first little, I don't remember what the instance was. Was it their first Monday bingo or something? I can't remember, but
maybe
I feel like that could have helped her get the confidence to maybe meet other people in town. Or at least try something new. Yeah, I like both of your thoughts on that. I forgot what the cover looked like while I was reading. I love that the group of girls took her in and it felt like that helped her gain confidence. Yes, socially. Oh, Josephina's in the car, but okay, so replay. Yes, safe travels. It was so great to have a plus size character and that not be like a major plot point.
Yeah.
I agree. I feel like she had body confidence throughout the whole book, but she lacked social confidence. Her social confidence definitely grew by the end. Yeah. It's like not something that we ever see like in books. Like that's what is needing to be built up and kind of like refined. So that was a nice little take on that for sure. Okay, so we know that mental health is a really central topic for the book. So how do you think Asian Walker's mental health struggles are either similar or different? And how do these affect the relationship?
I mean, I don't know about the grander scheme of things, but one of my favorite scenes actually was when she had her bed in the closet and like they had that like mutual connection of like feeling safe in confined spaces, even though their anxiety would make them think that, they would get claustrophobic. But like he saw her and like she saw him in like in a different way. And I liked that.
Yeah.
We definitely deal with, I guess, intense emotion differently. Like, obviously we see Walker just run out of town as fast as possible at the end, which is crazy.
Man barely got his pants on before he was running.
It was intense. But I do like how they met, like their initial meeting. Because like you wouldn't have ever known, well, at least in my brain, like it wasn't clear that he also struggled like with anxiety, even though it was like, like he kind of knew how to kind of just be there for her without smothering her and making sure she's okay and stuff like that.
It's obviously like you said, it's like he recognized something in that moment in like when their first like encounter was. I thought it was interesting though on the different side of when she was finally like, "Are we going to talk about it?" And he's like, "I didn't think you'd want to," because he's like, I would hope somebody would never bring this up again. And she was like, "I mean, yeah, but like, we're gonna talk about it, you know." So, but I think it was really cool that they recognize certain things in each other. But yeah, there were some moments where I was like, "Oh, they're in tune with like each other's struggles," and sometimes where I was like, "I think they're oblivious to one another." One of the things that I wrote on my list, which I don't know if it'll come up better in another spot, but like with the whole like being in tune and like similar in certain aspects, like when she wanted to go to that dinner party and she was like, "Hey, you've got to come with me." And of course he was like, "Absolutely." I thought it was wildly interesting that with both of them having the mental health struggles, right? Because hey, same, like how she didn't realize that like those people know him when they had a whole conversation about it. And how I understand that he blocked a lot of stuff. I get that. But like so much of his character was wrapped around like, I don't want to be in this town because everybody knows me. Like, I feel like that was reiterated a few times through the story that I was like, got it. Like, and the fact that he never thought in this small town where people are their entire life, like where every baby born is on the mayor's wall, like that you, Walker, Wally, didn't think that like I'm going to know somebody in there and somebody's going to know me and what I went through and how, like that is such a trigger for him. Like that one that was one where I was like, oh, we're definitely not in tune with each other or themselves.
Yeah.
On the mental health side. Cause I feel like so many people, at least for me, it's like I would have ran through that scenario about 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Yep.
And the fact that not a single time did one of them even spin the block of their mind to run past that one is actually wild.
I feel like
oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I feel like maybe, like, I'm not saying this is what happened, but maybe Walker like was so worried about her and like making her feel comfortable, like he didn't even like think about like the possibility of knowing people that are there.
Yes.
Well, I just think like on Asia's side, like if Dana came to me and said, "I am so anxious about the people in this town," and as a friend to a friend, and then I go talk to these people and I was like, and they literally name drop, "Hey, I knew Dana in high school." That would be running through my mind. Yeah, I'd be running through my mind 24/7 until I had the chance to talk to her about it. So it's like, how did you not think to be like, "Oh, by the way, they know you."
And not even in passing, but like, "Oh, you're talking about Wally, the kid that ate by himself and punched that kid before we graduated?"
Yeah.
You mean the one that you have full-blown stories about? Interesting.
Yeah.
But I feel like the only plausible explanation is what Karina said. That's the only way that I can even somewhat wrap my brain around it, is that like he was so worried about her that he shut down like that side of himself. That's the only thing that I can wrap my mind around, how he would not have been like spiraling about the thought of going to an intimate dinner party with people in this town.
And I feel like possibly too, like the biggest trigger obviously was his dad.
Yeah.
And maybe like that wasn't close to the top of like freak out mode, even though like there have been so many instances where like, he's embarrassed because the whole town knows what happened with his childhood and stuff like that. So I don't know. Let's see what.
I also wanted to go back to what Dana was saying earlier about like when she was like, "Oh, are we going to talk about it?" I think that like from the very beginning, Jodie Slaughter wrote in the very big differences between how they confront issues. Because Asia was like, "Girl, let's talk about this," and he was like, "Actually, let's forget it ever happened."
Yeah.
That's exactly how he was all the way till the end of the book. He's just like, "Yeah, let me just forget about it and run away from my problems."
True.
Yeah. 100%. Missy's sad. I feel like they are very similar, but at the same time, they have different reactions to couple of things. Yeah. I don't have personal experience with anxiety or PTSD, but I feel like the author did a great job portraying it. And I did like a little, I was trying to see like what, if she's ever gotten interviewed, like just to kind of get her take on some stuff. And she did say this book was kind of her kind of also dealing with her own struggles. I'm thinking that it's like a very personal topic for her. So it's good that you think she did a great job. I agree. Like she just dropped that info that the ladies had specifically brought him up before. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like when they got to the dinner party, did he not have? I can't remember. So y'all have to remind me. Did he not have like an instant reaction upon seeing these people, or did he just forget what they looked like?
Yeah, he said he basically blocked out recognizing people, to where Miri was just like, she's like, it's okay that you don't remember me. She was like, but I thought it would be weird if we sat together and I didn't like acknowledge the fact that like, we did go to high school together. And so it's like, in that sense, like I get his PTSD allowed him to really like shut down like that side of recollection. I think for me, it was just like the age group and like knowing that like they are going to be around your age more than likely. And like, just the way, unless I'm reading it wrong, like the town really gave like super, super, super small town vibes, like everybody knows everybody. And so it's like, that part I think was just like a little, that spun me a little bit, but like, but I can understand like, they talk about all the time, like repressed memories and stuff like that, so it's like, I can get that maybe he didn't recognize them, but it's like, it's just hard to think that like, when he thinks everybody knows everything about him already, like
already assume.
Yeah, especially, sorry, my bad, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just agreeing.
Like when he went into the what was it, the cafe, where he went automatically into the assumption mode that like everybody's looking at me, she's thinking about everything that ever happened to me, which I feel like that felt very valid to me, like very real, of like going into a situation, and not in a narcissistic way you think everything's about you, but because you are terrified that people see like the parts of you that you feel like you need to hide. And like I just feel like they were on two separate ends, where it almost didn't even feel like that was the same person in that situation. But yeah, he says he didn't recognize them at all.
I said that's validated.
Thank you.
I agree. Like she just dumped that info from her brain that those ladies had brought him up in conversation before. Yeah. They're like, yeah, Wally is hot.
Yeah.
She did seem to grow a little socially and got more comfortable. I used to live in a small town and I knew everyone. My girls would come home and talk about their friends, and I would know their parents. I don't know why he would not assume he would know people she met that are her age.
Yeah.
Oh, very valid questions for sure.
I feel like now after finishing it, it's like I'm looking back at the stuff that I did read, like the first chunk of it, so much more critically, that I was like, what are we doing? Like, what were we doing?
Yeah. You're just vibing.
It really was. Happy coloring away.
Okay. Here's an interesting one. Why do you think Walker felt the need to run from Asia's house upon learning of his father's return? What did Asia come to represent to him? First of all, that was just wild to me. Like the visceral reaction, which like we said, everyone kind of has reactions in their own ways, and it affects people differently. But I didn't expect him to like be post
bliss, post bliss.
Yeah, and like I just picture him like freaking, I don't know, like a Scooby-Doo, like slow motion of him just like scrambling to get his things in order and just
Yeah.
left.
Like hopping out the door, putting his leg in his pants. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I mean, okay. But that was dramatic in my opinion. But again,
it felt dramatic. I don't know. I think like, again, like I understand anxiety because I deal with that, but PTSD, so I can't like speak on that part. But it almost felt like I would have thought, again, this is coming from no experience with PTSD, but like I would have thought he would have shut down maybe, and like it would have been like a like Wally, like what's going on, you know, and not like an actual like gotta run. It would have made more sense to me if like it was like dad's gonna be here in 30 minutes. Like grandma's calling me like, hey, dad said he's one town over. Just want to let you know. But it was the fact that it was he'll be here tomorrow. I don't think you had to do that, Walls. I don't think you needed to.
I thought you would have gone back to Asia's place at least.
Yes.
Or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like packed a bag and went to Asia's. I think that would have been, I don't know, more believable. But that, ooh.
What feels even worse is that not only did he leave, he never said a proper goodbye. A month? No text, no call, no email, no nothing. A month? And then you come crawling back? Oh, no.
Wasn't it 2 months?
Maybe it was like 2. I don't know, but that seems
July, and it
outrageous
was
to
like
me.
September.
I would have
really had the courage to.
I would have met him at the door like, scram. I don't want to talk to you. No, and here's the thing, y'all. I am a big fan of a third act breakup. Like, I love it. I know that's not everybody's thing. I love a third act breakup. Like, I'm gonna eat it up every time, except this one. But I'm gonna eat it up. And this was so intense. Like, this was traumatic for no why? Like, especially just like her being so. I think it wouldn't have been as irritating. I mean, it was going to be irritating regardless, but like the fact that he did know her mental health struggles, it wasn't like he thought, you know, like she had presented herself to him as being just like so self-assured in every single aspect of life. But for him to know that like she struggles greatly with things and like him to be like, I care about her so much. Peace. Like that. And it was the image of her like wrapping a sheet around her, trying to get to him at the door. That's how fast he ran out of there. That just like
It's just in shambles.
First of all, nobody would have. No, I'm sorry. Yeah. Thoughts. Yeah.
I do like how he said, I thought you represented safety, but he snapped. Yeah.
Come on.
Elaine, did you have any thoughts you wanted to interject with before we get to more comments?
I know. I just, I think this entire conversation, like, I just want to say this in case we didn't say this. Like, we're judging a book. We're not judging people that have these mental health struggles and that may have reacted the same way that, you know, Wally reacted or whatever his name is, Walker. But in the context of the book, like this, it just didn't add up for me. Like the reactions that he was having, especially because, you know, they talk so much, and granted, everybody's reaction is going to be different, but they talk so much about going to therapy and being open with each other and having conversations. And before this, they had been very open with each other. You know, they talked about the rules, they talked about the things that they wanted, they talked about, you know, them not staying. Like nothing was ever a big secret other than they were in love or whatever. But like it just felt whatever is exactly what I meant. And it just felt so like on the total end of the spectrum to what they were so preachy about earlier, just like being open and honest with each other. For him to just shut down, leave, not say anything for 1-2 months, whatever, how long, it just doesn't feel, it didn't feel authentic to the characters that she had built previously. Taking time for I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with taking time for yourself or feeling like you have to step away but like a month, 2 months, no contact. I'm sorry, that's just outrageous to me.
I want to see you again.
Yeah.
Can somebody refresh my memory? I like when the talk of therapy comes up, I do vividly remember Asia talking about therapy. I don't recall, and like, please let me know, but I don't recall Wally talking about therapy. He might have, and it just might have like completely just went past me, because I do feel like, because I don't remember him talking about therapy and like his POV, that I feel like that somewhat does make some sense of like where she was able to maybe communicate more, and if he didn't have therapy, like maybe that's why he really had not developed like those skills. But I am really glad that you said that it's like we're judging a book and not people who experience these things.
Right.
I just hope that I hope, you know, that everybody does hear that. But definitely just in the context of a romance book, and just like how, like you said, it just felt like a very, like a 180 from kind of like how they had already gone about their relationship. And I think too, it's just like with their meeting, right? Of like the first time they met each other was like her having a panic attack, and like, so it's like I feel like the walls were already like gone in that sense of just being like, hey, up here can be a war zone sometimes, you know. And it's like, again, I understand that part, you know. And like, so it's like, yeah, it just felt like very much kind of like, wait, what's happening, you know?
I can confirm, it does say therapy in Zoloft had reduced his number of panic attacks
Well,
by a whole hell of a lot. That's on age 18, so he's supposed to be going to therapy, or has. So yeah, that just really showed his instant decline in his growth as a fictional character. Like you said, we're not,
yeah,
you know. Yeah, act it, please. Him running like that kind of shocked me. I felt like they were communicating very well throughout the book, so him running felt like it came out of nowhere. I was expecting him to talk to her.
Yeah.
Very abrupt, that's for sure. Hi, Alita.
Yay.
Welcome. Or just stay there, yeah. Like you didn't really have to do all
Yeah.
that. I understood his behavior. He completely shut down, and he's a runner. He even left his clothes in the dryer, and then he felt like such an ass. Factor. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, he really did leave everything in the dryer.
So he's like, I'll count it as a loss and just like take it and go. Like take that L and keep it pushing.
So it does show like
Yeah.
the drastic emergent response he had.
With the desperation to get out there.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think he should have stayed. Yeah. I love the grand gesture, him sitting outside for hours, waiting on her to be ready to talk. Like she didn't want him to stay or go, and he met her there. It's very true.
I do think that in any other context, I would have loved that, you know, waiting outside the door. But I don't know. I just can't get over the month or 2 months, however long it was. I can't get over it. I just can't get over it.
It's definitely an extended period of time. And I was shocked. Like he really let that much time go on. But like
Oh, she's pulling out the list.
No, can I just tell you one of the things that I wrote? It says grand gesture was mid, period, at best.
I don't even know if I would call it mid, to be honest.
I said at best. It was mid at best. Like okay. I think with like his reaction, right, when he left her, that was huge, right? A huge reaction, and you know, dealing with his mental health. But I think like the like come back together, fix it type of thing, I don't think that hit the same level of intensity for me, you know. But yeah.
Okay. Sure. I have no experience with PTSD either, but from my reading, I thought his dad was just a shitty person. From someone who doesn't understand from his actions, I would have assumed his dad beat him or touched him inappropriately or something.
I mean, I do think that having an addiction, it's a very taxing thing, especially on kids that don't have any control over it. So seeing his backstory a little bit and understanding, you know, some of the things that happened to him as a kid and that he had to witness, I mean, that it's a totally normal response to have that kind of trauma response to it. I just I don't know. I feel like the way that Jodie Slaughter wrote it, I don't know if she was trying to make it seem as though these characters are human and they're, you know, evolving and devolving as their mental health dips and rises, which is totally fine too.
Mhm.
But I think that sometimes when you're putting something in a very unrealistic scope, like I don't know anybody out there that's had a sex pact at a bingo club. Like you're putting it in a very unrealistic scope. Like not all of those realistic things make sense for the characters that you're writing.
Mhm.
Very true.
Yeah.
Lisa said that part made me mad too. The fact that he ran away and completely stopped all contact. Yeah. If he had like maybe texted her a day, like the next day or something, like you said, like she has her own mental health struggles. Like just for him to leave her out to dry like that is just not nice.
Mm-mm.
He had years of therapy. In the kitchen with Miss May, he mentioned that he has developed a lot of coping skills, which yes, he should have been able to access when he got the call. Yeah. I think like Kaylani said, like it's I guess could be a realistic depiction of like, you know, the ebbs and flows of mental health. So I can definitely see because we all have like, you know, setbacks in different ways.
Yeah.
So that could have been his like big one, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Walker has been in therapy, but he was in the process of needing to find another therapist, but I can't remember why. Thank you for that. Not far, but I do remember him saying that he was looking for a new therapist though, because his retired. Okay.
Oh.
No. So he's probably had some time away to not fully grasp. Maybe since he returned to town, like he didn't have like a appointment since then or something, and that could have been
a little out of, my bad. I'm so sorry.
That could have like caused that setback for sure.
Yeah. Like a little out of practice, maybe with some of his coping skills and mechanisms, which, you know, it's like, you know, everybody's human, you know, and like you said, like the ebbs and flows of mental health can be quite drastic sometimes. But yeah, there were so many moments though that I think it felt like he hadn't had been in therapy before with just like certain things. So it was, but very interesting though, like how sometimes, you know, you think you're like, wow, I'm golden, but you still need to keep those things in practice so that God forbid a situation does come up, you know, like Abby Jean said, like to be able to pull on those things, like to be like, okay, yeah.
I understand it though. I was that way for a long time. I avoided conflict and all problems, going to the point of running away from my house at 2 a.m. with no phone, no ID, no nothing. I was dumb, but it was my mental health at the time. Yeah. Very valid.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Oh, we were on the same page. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you, Lena. And like that part too, the waiting outside the door. Him waiting outside her door was putting pressure on her. What if she needed time to think after seeing him for like a week? So what? She wants to leave her apartment. Oh, what if she wants to leave her apartment but has to deal with him too? That's a very good point. Because like, yeah, like, you know, he's just out there lingering.
Yeah.
And she caved in 4 hours. You go, girl.
For real. Too little, too late, though. Yeah. Right, he did sort of trap her in there. Yeah. I suffer from PTSD from things that happened to me as a child, and I hate what he did, but I understand it 1,000,000%.
Okay.
Good. Thank you for sharing and, you know, allowing us to see that there is something to kind of relate to in that way.
Yeah. We're sending you love. That's
a
lot to, you know,
sure.
upload. Yeah.
Hi, Blossom. Wow. Thank you for stopping by. As we are talking hardcore into our book. Yeah. Okay. I feel like some of these questions we've already kind of
touched on.
But I do like this question. What did each character learn about self-acceptance through one another? Maybe I should have answered it.
Chat, do you guys want to answer that question? I'll leave that one to you
We're
guys.
gonna take it away.
I think that I didn't really love Walker, so I'm trying to think of like Asia's perspective. I think because she also had her own struggles, she was able to maybe be a little more forgiving when it came to him and his abrupt departure at the end.
Yeah,
As far as self-acceptance, I think the way he like was really, I guess, accepting of her in ways that maybe she didn't feel confident in. And just, I think he really was the stepping stone for her to kind of step out socially and her confidence up. I really do think that he aided in that. Self-acceptance. Should we answer ask another question?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say though, I'm really happy that you brought something up because I feel like my brain wasn't allowing me to like connect those dots about saying maybe because she does understand like mental health struggles that might have made her a little more forgiving and like open to saying like maybe like I don't understand why your reaction was that way, but like I understand it came from a place of like just like hurt and just feeling like that was all you had left, which maybe she understood too a little bit because she picked up and moved, you know, away from everybody she knew into another place. But I'm glad you said that because I think in just like my feelings on like finishing the book, I would not on my own I think have made that connection, so I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah.
Okay, since you kind of brought up this in a sense, how they both chose to live where they did for the sake of their mental health, with Walker moving to Charleston and Asia moving to Greenbelt, how can location affect mental health?
Yeah.
I think
sorry.
No, sorry. I think what's her name? Jodie kind of put an emphasis on that as well. So I think this would be a fun question to kind of discuss and get everyone's thoughts on.
Yeah. I think like for Walker, I think he really wanted anonymity? Like he wanted to be anonymous. Like he wanted to be in a bigger place where nobody would know like what he was going through. And shout out to a college roommate for being able to be like, yeah, you don't have to know everybody, but you don't have to know some people, my friend, you know? And so it was just interesting in how it's like Jodie was like, I don't want to be around anywhere I'm at because it's way too intense. Like Washington, D.C., like such a very drastic pace of life, you know?
Yeah.
But I think it's so true. Like location can have such a big effect on just like your day to day. And even like, you know, for how they say like in Seattle, like, you know, because it kind of has a gray cast over it and how they talk, like, you know, there's studies done about like what mental health is like in that area versus, you know, like seasonal depression, you know, it's like sometimes in those colder winter months, like the brain goblins attack a little more than when you're in the sunshine or something, you know? So I think location can have such a huge impact on mental health. And I think just like both of them feeling very alone and isolated, like they went to what they thought would bring comfort, in him being in a place where nobody's going to know a single thing that happened to me and my dad. And you know, and her being like, I need to get away from the hustle and bustle, but then sadly, you know, struggling to connect to that small, like to connect to people. But yeah, I think location has a huge impact on people.
Yeah, I think Dana hit the nail on the head there. I was going to talk about like seasonal depression. I think it's one of those things that's like if you live in a place that is gray and dreary all the time, like that could definitely be a detriment. But like also just like surrounding yourself with the right kind of people. And I feel like in both locations, neither of them had that the right people, you know, to be around. So I think that also has a lot to do with it. So I think in the grand scheme of things in life, location plays a big part. But sometimes you can't always change your circumstances either. So it's like just one of those things.
Exactly. Like everything said, I love how they resolved that in the end, and they were like close enough to Greenbelt, but also far enough away,
Mhm.
and like
That's
close enough to Charleston. Yeah, kind of like meeting in the middle.
It's a great example of compromise, of like giving a little and taking a little and finding that sweet spot.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's so much the location, but the people surrounding you. Well, I don't know what that was. My husband and I would really like to move to a place that is new to both of us. Oh, that is very exciting, especially if you have like a partner to kind of, take on the world with and just have new experiences. And I think that's so fun. Very brave because moving is not fun.
You're very brave. I feel like you are a seasoned vet at doing that. Like, I feel like you tackle that with such grace and like strength.
Yeah.
It definitely helps to have like you guys, to keep me strong.
I'll cry right now. Stop it.
Okay.
Don't bring out the emotions for me that Jodie was trying to.
I think, she did try. She tried her best. I just moved to a place where I know not a soul, coming from a place I knew everyone, and I have to say I love it. Wow. That is nice, honestly. Because I know, like, Dana, you know everyone, basically, where you live. And well, you're around family.
Yeah. I feel like Orange County is big enough that I can kind of go anywhere and have that anonymity, but I grew up so much around here that I do know quite a few.
Yeah. It's funny because it's one of my daydreams, like that, to just like move to a place I know no one. Like, I think about it often.
It is kind of nice, especially with like, in Walker's case, like he had a horrendous experience with like school. His whole childhood is kind of like, triggering.
Yeah.
So in his from his perspective, I think that was the best thing for him to move and find peace, in his day to day, and not have to worry about encountering someone. And obviously, like we know how to overthink. Okay, like running into Sally from down the block, and like you're thinking, what possibly did she remember from my childhood, and just like it's just definitely a spiral that's easy to go down.
Yeah, we are accustomed to a spiral. I'll tell you that.
Oh yes.
Lucy said, being in a small town where everyone knows your business can be daunting, and at the same time can be said about living in a big, bustling city. Both can have different but similar challenges. Yeah, absolutely. Location can really change everything and every aspect.
Yep.
Very true. My husband, oh God. Sorry, allergies are going crazy. My husband and I were with his family for many years, but I don't feel like we grew up until we found our own place in the world. Yeah, I can definitely.
That's a very valid thing.
Yeah.
I get to choose what I share about myself with new people I meet instead of people assuming they know me.
Yeah.
I think that's what is like the catalyst for like my forever daydream of like being somewhere else.
It was a crazy time, but I decided it was now or never. So husband and I took a leap of faith. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's awesome.
Adventurous.
Oh no, lost internet connection, but it's back.
Happy you're back.
Yeah, welcome back. I'm curious, Amy, how many hours away did you move? Yeah. You turned 50.
The sap.
Sap just needed to make sure we knew that he had thoughts, feelings, concerns, questions, and comments about the book. And they were all valid. They were all
Yep.
valid. Everything he said, period.
So I sold my body. Okay, so it didn't work. If it didn't work, we could say we were having a midlife crisis, but we both really love the change.
I love that.
I like that, having something to fall back, you know.
Oh,
But there, it can take a toll on mental health as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. All right. I think I do. Okay, we have one question, then of course our usual question that we end off on. But this question comes from Asia, kind of having that sense of home for Walker and like him feeling safe enough to kind of allow her to see like all parts of him. So who and what does your concept of home consist of?
That's for me, it's like so cliche, but my family, like, and I think that's one of the reasons that like going to a place that, you know, that I know nobody is, like I said, a daydream, like something that like I think would be so cool. But I think it's just like my family's got a chokehold on me. Like, you know, so but it's that. I think it's just that feeling of just being with people that like you can be your weirdest self with, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But for me it's that. But I do love that question because of like the whole Peaches thing and how you kind of had that realization of being like that was like his favorite part of home and what made him feel like
Mm-hmm.
okay, and that she gave him that feel, and like that's really sweet,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
I agree. My family, I love my family, and I think that's why it's been so hard knowing that like where we live is so expensive, but all my family's here,
Mm-hmm.
and all of his family's here, and so like for me, home is where family is, but I feel like in even more dialed down, like my home is where like my immediate,
Mm-hmm.
my boys, where my boys are, that's my home. And then I find pockets of home in you guys too, because it's like I feel like you guys get me more than anybody else. So
Oh, that's so sweet.
no crying. I could cry right now. Don't do it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Suck them back in there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have to say, because we are book people,
Mhm.
like having like a little home library is really just the best.
So soothing.
Yeah, because obviously I'm going to take my books with me everywhere I go, even if it's my Kindle on a daily outing.
Mhm.
But I think, like definitely, like you guys said, family. Like obviously, my family is not close to me, but that extends to like my friends, my besties, and my dogs. Even though sometimes they want to give me a heart attack. But yeah, I like some of these answers. Okay. You moved from Northern Illinois to East Tennessee. It's 9 hours away. Ooh,
Wow. It's a big move.
that is very big. Home is my family. Loved ones are friends and family. Mm-hmm. And there we go. Yes. Home is where your heart is. Whether it's a person, people, or a place, your soul feels at peace. Yeah. I think for me, like Hawaii will always be home, even though I'm not living there. I do agree.
That made me a little emo. Oh, I just want you to be able to go back and visit. Like
I'm never leaving. DiCaprio in Wolf of Wall Street. I'm not leaving. Yeah, that scene. I would not if I could. It is challenging because I did move away from my family, but I had wanted to leave my hometown since I was 20, and it has worked out. Now my immediate and extended family visits all the time, and we are in the middle of all of our kids. Wow, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That saying home is where the heart is true. For me, I would say home is wherever my husband is, but maybe your own home is different for everyone. That is so beautiful.
Yeah.
Being your own home, that's deep.
Very.
That's such an elevated sense. Like an elevated like mental health space, I think, to be like, yeah, I have so much peace just being here, you know?
Yeah. Like HB said, home is definitely a feeling, not a place. Absolutely. Abby Jean said, for me, of course, my husband, but beyond that, I was minimalist my entire adult life until the past year. We have been working on creating a cozy, comfortable home, and it makes such a big difference. Oh, that is amazing. As someone who did not have the best childhood, my home is my happy place. It's where I've raised kids and my safe person, my husband. Oh, beautiful.
Alita, I love that you're rewriting, like, you know, just things for yourself.
Yeah, like your path. You're creating your own journey.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I moved 16 hours away for work, and I'm looking forward to moving anywhere closer once my apprenticeship is done. Yeah. It is. It can be very emotionally taxing being so far from family. So I feel you there.
It's crazy to think like all of my family like I would say 5 years ago, we were all here. Now my mom's in Washington, and my sister's moving to Japan soon. Her husband deploys to Japan for 2 years, so she's moving to Japan. My brother's in Texas. So it's like everyone's starting to spread out. So it almost feels like, okay, maybe I can leave, but I still have like my dad's here, his mom's here, my grandma's here. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'm not ready yet.
Understandable. Laughing at this. My home is where a bed and a loud fan on. Oh my goodness.
But that's comfort, boy. That is comfort. Yeah.
Exactly. Of course, we have to ask this every time. But did you swoon?
No. Okay, like I had. Here's my thing: is that like I feel like I was so invested in the buildup that I really had so much faith in where it was going. Like I was just like, oh, moments of this were like really cute, and I thought we were gonna have like, I was anticipating a full swoon like moment at the end, and it just you know, it did not. Like they're being like, I liked the little like chemistry, tension, or whatever you want to call it. I liked the idea of like sneaking around the town, like this small town where everybody knows you. Like I was like, ooh, but I thought there was going to be more of a time where there was actually like, hey, this is romance, and we are in love, and like that's where I was waiting for the swoon, and that didn't happen for me. I feel like I didn't get the payoff for like all the little whatevers, you know. Come on now, y'all seen that TikTok where
I was just thinking of that, the chair that you were talking about the last time when I did my little oopsie.
yeah.
Yeah, mine is a definite no for me. I did not. From the first G word, Rita, all the way through, there was no swooning for me.
The first G word.
Remember the word that we didn't think that was going to be in there, but it was?
Turn that out.
Put it in the private chat, please.
I'm putting it in.
Yeah. And did anyone else catch a specific word that starts with a G and ends with a T during the spicy scene? I've never heard that in my entire life. Apparently not. If you know the word, I'll say it. Ellie said, thank you. I was not prioritized as a child, so I need to make myself matter, because if I don't, no one will. Sounds better in my head. I think that is a great perspective. And it doesn't sound bad. It's definitely something that we can all, I think, relate to in ways, and you know. So definitely.
Sometimes you have to be your own champion, you know, and like
Exactly.
That takes a lot of strength.
Oh, Missy did. Okay.
Yay.
I will say the spicy parts was unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, first of all, also in public spaces. Except for the one time he ran away. But I was like, they are wild with this anxiety. Let me put it in my back pocket.
Okay. That's one of those things where I feel like there was such a disconnect in things with the like social anxiety, but being like,
Let's do the nasty in this mayor's house.
They said,
where the whole town is out and about.
yeah, especially outside the bingo hall. Come on, that's wild.
Where you know these people.
Your grandma's in there.
Sweet Grams. Misty May. What's her name?
Miss May.
Miss May. Like, what?
James. That's so, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, in the mayor's office. I was like, oh my goodness. And so after talking this though with y'all, I'm pretty sure I'm giving it 4 stars.
I love that though.
That's still a good rating.
It's amazing.
It's an incredible rating.
Yeah.
I'm about to buy Stardew Valley. It looks so chaotic. Hopefully, I hope so, right? But did you soon?
Did you soon? I'm literally about to dive back into my Stardew Valley phase. I can feel it in my soul.
Stunning.
So the word is gusset. I had to look up that word. I even asked my husband. He was like, I know what it means when it comes to metalwork. I've never heard the word before, and it came up twice. Yeah, I surprisingly noticed it each time. It was interesting. I didn't love the first sex scene. It was so impersonal. Oh, and I didn't like the mirror's house either. I was like, are they for real right now? I found the big pictures. Give me all the show. And they probably would. I didn't swoon. Parts of it just felt disconnected, even with my
Yeah. Okay, so sorry, but that part about like we've talked about the disconnect, and that was one thing that I did want to say. Like, I feel like so much of the book it was really going into like Wally's trauma, and like how it has impacted him in his life and like just the way he lives his life. And I just feel like there was so much of that. And then if you blinked, you would have missed like him sitting down with his dad and like having that conversation. I feel like so much of the book, was like his trauma journey. And then like where it would have been a huge, like impactful scene. I just feel like
brushed over.
Yeah. And I think that was like, honestly, like that's how I feel for everything. Like I thought she was really building up to so many different things in the story. And then I was like, oh, okay. So we're not going to take it all the way to the finish line. And yeah. But
yeah.
I
think if that scene was like elongated.
Yeah.
That's the word that came to my head. But if that was like longer, I feel like it really could have been more meaningful, especially with the drastic departure. But like if we got to see a very in-depth conversation about, and like it just felt very like glossed over and like, yeah, I forgive you. Like really, you had such a visceral reaction, and now it's just like, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, like I don't want you to think I hate you. Like, okay.
Yeah. I guess, yeah. Some Stardew Valley love.
Period.
Unfortunately not. This wasn't a swoony book, but
no. Yeah.
We were hoping for the best.
I
do like he dealt with his issues with his dad before going back. Yeah.
I do like that. I wish we just got more pages of it, but I do like that he kind of took care of what he needed to take care of before he went there.
Exactly. From the point where he runs away to the end, felt really rushed.
Yeah.
Okay, add that to your vocabulary. Just kidding. Okay.
Along with Gusset.
Gusset.
Please, I beg.
I mean, she started something. I don't know. Maybe not. Why not? All right. So that was all. Well, we did have more questions, but I feel like we've dissected this, I think, enough and kind of covered all facets
Yeah.
For the most part.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now's the time we're going to be doing our random spinner wheel, to give away a copy of our next book.
Oh, so
which
sorry.
is-
I was supposed to be on it. Supposed to be on it. The
Yeah.
X-Files.
The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. We're so excited about it.
So whether you want to do physical, audio, or ebook, it's up to you. You can win a copy of this here book. If your name is picked, and I have the trusty spinner wheel ready to go.
Bryce is ready. He said,
So spin that wheel.
"Yeah, wheel."
Okay, we ready, besties?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. Oh, I gotta click the middle. Oh, it makes a noise. Ooh.
Ooh. So many colors.
Amy!
Yay!
Congrats.
Jamie, let me pull her up. Amy, you are our winner.
Yay.
So we will get you a copy, either physically, electronically, or audibly, whatever your choice is, for the X-Files, so that you can read it along with us next month.
Yay.
Exciting. Yay. That's so fun. Yes, so excited. Thank you, ladies. Well, thank you for joining us for the discussion, reading along with us. And we look forward to our Jessica Joyce journey.
Yeah.
Brings the swoons. Yeah. So before we leave, I know I said we're going to leave, but has anyone's ratings changed? I know Misty said her rating went to a 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to keep my 3 stars, I think, for this one, personally. Okay. You.
I am flirting with a 2.5. I think I just feel so let down. And so it's like I don't know if I should take more time to see, like, will my irritation like subside and then see it a little clearer. But
Okay.
I feel like on Goodreads I'll have a 3, but I'm gonna think about it to see if I'm a
Kehlani?
I think I'm going down to a 3. So I was a 3.5. I think I'm going to settle on a 3-star.
Okay. Nice. Ooh. We need to just put a hold on our library for the X-Files. Yay. Okay, going down to a 4, which isn't bad. Like, that's not too bad. If I could go to 0, I would.
We definitely all have those books where you're like, I wish I could.
Yeah, exactly. My rating hasn't changed. 3 stars. Keeping 3 stars. Okay. So not a total loss.
No.
You know?
Yeah. A 3 is not the worst thing in the world, you know? So, yeah.
Because people would probably cry, Bryce. There'd be a ruthless land out there on the Goodreads sphere. But yeah, wow. What a great discussion. Thank you guys for joining us in the chat. Thank you on the screen. Thank you, ladies. The Swoony Readers. You guys have anything you want to say?
Tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, we will be on Kaylani's channel.
Yeah.
At 11 a.m. Eastern to do some sprints. And then at 6 p.m. Eastern, we'll be on Discord to watch How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yes.
Yeah.
Last movie and our last scheduled sprint.
Yes.
We'll just say that.
Yes.
So that's exciting. But thank you for everyone being here. Thank you guys for being kind and patient as we waited through a very difficult book to talk about in regards to topics. So we appreciate you guys for just being so amazing and wonderful and joining. We love you guys so much.
Yes. Oh, yes. Thank you guys for being here. And we can't wait to see you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good night, guys.
Bye.
Good night.